There was a time when the British motorway was a lorry driver's kingdom. No sat-navs, no cameras watching your every turn, and definitely no HR departments ringing you up about rest periods. It was just you, the machine, and the road. Back in the 1980s, what passed for normal would make a modern health and safety officer faint, and yet, to the drivers of the day, this was just a job. It's how things worked. So let's rewind the clock and take a look at 8 things that were completely normal for lorry drivers in 1980s Britain, but would be absolutely illegal today. First off, working ridiculous hours. If you weren't hitting 70 or 80 hours a week, were you even trying? Tachographs weren't digital yet. The old paper chart ones were easy to fudge, and enforcement wasn't exactly harsh. You'd run up to Glasgow, turn around, and be back down in Birmingham before anyone checked your discs. Now, with digital tacho units, everything's logged, monitored, and you'll get fined, or worse, if you go even half an hour over. Second, sleeping in lay-bys and hard shoulders. It was common to see a line of trucks parked just off the A1 or M6, cabs dark, curtains drawn. There weren't enough proper truck stops with accommodation, so you made do. Got the kettle on, pulled your sleeping bag up to your chest, and tried to ignore the roar of cars flying past. Nowadays, you'd be told off, fined, or towed. It's all designated parking only now, and roadside safety rules have cracked down hard. Then there was overloading, not just a few kilos over either. Some firms used to encourage it. Put a bit more on, get it all there in one go. Drivers knew how to dodge weighbridges or take quiet back roads to avoid getting pulled over. Today, you'd get hammered, with fines, license points, and your operator could lose their license too. There's no such thing as a quiet shortcut anymore. ANPR, mobile weigh stations, and DVSA patrols see to that. Fourth, minimal safety checks on your lorry. Lights out, just don't drive at night. Tire a bit bald, avoid rain. You'd do a walk around, sure, but there was no checklist, no app, no QR codes, or vehicle telematics feeding data back to base. You just knew your truck. Today, that wouldn't cut it. Fleet managers want daily checklists, sign-offs, proof. Miss a detail and you're off the road, or out of a job. CB radio chatter to avoid the law. Now that was an art. Channel 19 was the unofficial gossip line. Smokey on the bridge, mate, ease off. You could practically coordinate an entire convoy to slow down before a speed trap and speed back up after. It wasn't seen as dodgy, it was just good communication. Now, most CBs are silent or forgotten, and if you're caught using it to dodge enforcement, it's not taken lightly. Number 6, sleep-deprived night driving. Picture this. You've been on since 5 AM, it's now nearly 10 PM, and you've still got 100 miles to go. But the delivery slot's at 5 AM sharp, and if you're late, you're docked pay. So you power on through, sipping coffee and chain smoking, praying for second wind. Today, drivers legally must stop after 9 hours, and with tachographs and scheduling software, there's no just one more push. Smoking in the cab, even with cargo, completely normal. Rollies, B&H, whatever you liked. You could be carrying fruit, electronics, paint. Didn't matter, the cab was your castle. Now, many haulage firms have no smoking policies even outside the cab, and if there's anyone else in the lorry, smoking becomes a legal issue. Plus, with companies trying to protect resale value, smoking inside is a big no-no. And let's not forget missing or dodgy paperwork. Got a logbook that's half filled in? Doesn't match the delivery route? Doesn't matter, no one's checking. You'd scribble it in later, hand it over at the depot, and that was that. These days, it's all time-stamped, geo-tracked, and linked to company systems. One misstep and you're red flagged for an audit. The truth is, back then, most of it came down to trust. If your boss knew you could deliver on time and not crash, you were golden. There weren't compliance departments, or tracking systems, or driver well-being teams. It was a different world. Rougher, yes, but also built on experience and instinct. But what came with that freedom was risk. And today, much of that's been tightened up, regulated, and in some cases, criminalized. But those aren't the only throwbacks that would land you in hot water today. In part 2, we've got 7 more that will make you shake your head, laugh, or both. From fuel tampering to off-the-books deliveries. Stick around because the madness isn't over yet. Picking up from where we left off, let's look at 7 more things that lorry drivers in 1980s Britain did all the time, but would absolutely get them in trouble today. If part 1 made you nostalgic, part 2 might make you thankful you're not filling out risk assessments every day like drivers do now. Let's start with drinking on the job, or right before it. It wasn't exactly a pint at the wheel, but it wasn't unheard of for a driver to sink a few in the pub before climbing into the sleeper cab. And if the job started early the next day, Well, that was tomorrow's problem. These days, most haulage firms have breathalyzers at depots and random checks. Get caught with even a trace, you're off the road. Next, fuel siphoning and swapping. It wasn't all criminal. Sometimes you just needed to top up a mate's tank after he broke down on the A46. Other times, some drivers took a bit home. Fuel cards weren't as common back then, and diesel prices started to rise. These days, with fuel tracking, GPS, and high-tech pump monitoring, there's no getting away with it. One missing liter and your job's on the line. Then there's unauthorized backloads you've just delivered to Manchester. On your way back to London, you see a job at a local builder's yard. Quick cash-in-hand run, under the radar. Totally normal in the 80s, not anymore. Modern logistics firms track every leg of your journey. Unscheduled stops, red flag. Plus, if you've not declared the load, you're in violation of insurance, road safety, and company policy. Triple whammy. No proper load securing was also fairly standard. You'd throw a few straps over the top, maybe a curtain pulled tight, and crack on. These days, it's regulated to death. Load security is taken as seriously as brakes or tires. DVSA checks will pull you over for even a loose strap, and if it's dangerous, they'll immobilize your vehicle right there. Idling your engine, not just while parked, but overnight. In winter, just to keep the heater going, or for no reason at all. Back then, it wasn't seen as an issue, it was your lorry, your fuel. Now, you're encouraged to shut it off whenever you stop, and some fleets even have systems that auto-kill the engine after a minute or two to cut emissions and save costs. Times have changed. Overtaking bans? What bans? In the 80s, if you saw a slower rig in front, you went round, even if it meant crawling past on a single lane hill for 5 minutes. Nowadays, overtaking restrictions are strict, and if you're caught hogging lanes or holding up traffic in a crawler lane, you'll be reported, fined, or disciplined by your employer. It's not just dangerous, it's bad press for the company. And finally, running under the radar with no insurance or MOT. Believe it or not, some small-time operators tried it. Swap plates, cut corners, anything to keep the wheels turning. But today, impossible. ANPR, automatic alerts, and company-wide telematics make dodging compliance near impossible. These things weren't always done out of malice. More often, they were just ways of surviving a tough trade, where margins were slim, hours were long, and the job was king. But the 1980s style of haulage, gritty, independent, sometimes reckless, is now history. Regulations have caught up. Technology has changed the game, and while some of that old school charm is gone, the stories remain. Because for those who lived it, the golden age of British trucking was never about polished dashboards or corporate rules. It was about grit, it was about graft, and it was about getting the job done, no matter what the rulebook said. If you want more trucking stories, heavy hauler history, and lost legends from the golden era of British roads, don't forget to subscribe and drop your own 1980s trucking memories in the comments. We read everyone.